Well, good morning again. It's Margaret from M.E.s Orchids, and we've got a glorious sunny day here in Crewe, England, and I thought I'd just bring you into the grow room. I've had one or two questions asked about the Phalaenopsis that have moved into vases, and I did the Google search for epiphyte and the definition, and as far as I can see, in relation to mine, there's grey roots, there's fertilising, there's air, there's humidity, there's rain, and there's a dry out. Now, I don't live in a tropical country. We live in England, which is a temperate climate, and we have winters, we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Some of the summers are wet. Some of the winters are grey and miserable. Spring, which can be any time from March, April, May, they can be lovely months. And then we get the summer months where the daylight increases for us, and although sometimes the weather's not wonderful, at least we do have the nice long, as we call them, summer days. Now these Phalaenopsis here that I'm showing you, these are all hybrid Phalaenopsis, and that means that they've been cultivated to be hardier than the little species Phalaenopsis, which is like that one. That's a species one. And if I bring you this other little one up here, sorry about that, I was talking into my strap then. And that's Hieroglyphica. Now, the species ones are completely different, as I say, kettle of fish, because they are, well, I find, much harder to grow. But I'm not going to talk about those today. What I want to talk about is these ordinary either grocery store Phalaenopsis, or they're from nurseries, and they could be named nurseries. I'm not sure whether some of the ones I call the Three Sisters, they could have come from either Burnham's or Macbean's. I can't remember. I've had them that long, but they do grow very big. And this one here, which I've just got, if I bring it up now and put it here. Now this is a huge thing, and this leaf here, well, it's taken me, I think I had this February 2015, so this has taken me 3 years to get to this stage. It came, as I say, I hardly paid anything for this, 99p, and she's got lovely aerial roots, and she's potted up in bark, a little bit of sphagnum moss. She's got nice roots there, and to all intents and purposes she looks bone dry. And people might say, well, isn't it time to water? And my experience now says no. We're still classed as winter here, so no, and we're going into a cold spell, so that won't get watered at all, and it will not come to any harm whatsoever. And I think YouTube has been marvellous in the sense that you can look at other people's videos, you can look what trends are happening. There's with this water culture, the semi-water culture, there's the ones with the clay pellets. Michael does a lot of his plants that way, and there's two little holes on the side. It'll come to me in a minute. I've got a memory block here, and you see, I don't really follow the trends in certain respects, because I don't know, I have just got this instinct. Don't ask me how I've got this instinct, I've no idea. But if I look at a plant and by instinct I think, no, it's not doing too well, I've got to do something about that. And that's when I'll do something. Now, last October, because I'd never grown anything in waterculture, and I didn't want to take a chance of converting anything over in October. Now, but this was a store bought one, and it's just got pulsation. And so what I decided to do was just put it in this vase here, and just put some gravel at the bottom, and that's all I did. And all I ever did during the winter was just put a little drop of water in the bottom. Nothing more. In fact, you'll see some of these roots are grey. That's an aerial root. I very rarely give that any hydration at all. And for maybe 6-8 weeks, there was absolutely no signs of anything happening at all. And then all of a sudden, one day I looked and I'd got little green shoots coming out of these old grey roots. And it suddenly dawned on me then that, by gosh, I can actually, overwinter Phalaenopsis in open vases. And can you see that root there? Don't know if you can see there, just tucked in there. And of course the nicer weather has come, and they're absolutely loving it. They've got all the air they need. So let's have a look on this list that I did. See, I've got grey roots, and I've got fertilising, and air, humidity, rain, dry out. Now at the moment in this grow room it's 21 degrees centigrade and it's 62% humidity. As I say, it can go down to in the 40% humidity, and I do panic then, so the humidifier goes on. It's actually on at the moment. But if these orchids were in situ in a tropical rainforest, then they would get the humidity by virtue of the rainfall, and then it dries out. I remember being in Florida and it can absolutely throw it down, and I mean, I've never seen rain like it. And then within 2 hours, everywhere's red hot, and the humidity, it's pouring off you. Now, my grow room here, I cannot replicate that. I live in a temperate climate. So I have to introduce humidity, and I have to introduce water and feed to these orchids. But what experience has taught me is that it's got to be little and often. Don't go and drown the plant. The plant won't want that. This one, let me just show you. I have a container here, and that's got fertiliser in. And I've got the same container there, that's just got plain water in. Now this one here, I just poured a little down yesterday, just down that side. No more. I actually poured it from the top here. So those few roots there would have just got the water, and it trickled down here. And there wasn't a lot. I don't leave them in any depth of water. And this is why I say I don't really do waterculture. This vase here, if you remember, if you've watched Rick's videos, this is the vessel by which the orchid sits in. And I have to give it food and water periodically. In nature, it would be done automatically. They'd either get the morning mist or they'd get the tropical rains. And what you mustn't do is to overwater them, Now if I just bring a couple more over here. Now I'm not wanting to patronise anybody for the way they grow their orchids, because to me, let me just put these vases, these orchids are quite big. It's taken me a long time to understand my environment. I have got no, oh sorry about that, I have got no qualifications at all. I'm just an ordinary person who, through whatever, I think it was the death of my mum, and I was bought these 3 lovely white Phalaenopsis, and I was determined to keep them because, of course, that's a memory, and I haven't any sisters, so I just call these the 3 sisters. Sorry about that, I was nattering away and I hadn't realised I'd tipped the camera. So I've got 3 brothers, but I don't want to call them, my orchids, I don't call them by the male gender, I just refer to them as the female gender. And as I say, I never had any sisters, so I call these the 3 sisters. And there we go. Now, I introduced some water the other day, and you can see that quite a few of the roots have hydrated. Now, the ones at the top haven't hydrated, and am I worried? No. I mean, they may never hydrate again. That one with that active, just bear with me, with that active, oh, let's see, I'm in the sun here, with that active root there, that will just have to work its way down. And I don't worry about these top parts of these roots, because even if they're on a tree, it doesn't say that every root is going to get water on them. Now let me just put that one back now. And what I've found also with growing orchids is to try and put them back exactly in the same manner that they were before. They don't like to be moved, they like to be, well, I suppose if you think about it, when you're anchored down on a tree, one minute you don't face left, or you don't face the next, you don't face right, you're just there on the tree. That's the other one, you see. And look at those roots. And then you've got these grey ones at the top. And just because the roots are grey, it doesn't mean that you've got to water them. Can you see that little one? So that's a root coming out of a root. So it doesn't say because they're grey you've got to water them. No, you've got to know your environment. It's no good leaving them in water. That first one that I converted over, I never had any root rot at all, converting from the bark that she was in to this type of open environment. I never had any mould, I've never had any dieback of the root, nothing at all. Now whether that's, I don't think that's luck, I think it's because I've not kept them too wet. Let's just bring you this one. This is the other one, and you can see there's still a little bit of moisture down there. Let's go under here. You see, so those roots are pale green to grey. So whatever water I introduce there, that one's taking it up. And I will look at this one again next Wednesday. She won't get anything before, not especially with this cold spell we're going to go into. So let me put that one back. And this one, I have to manoeuvre this one. I tell you what, let me put that one down there. And I did explain that the the phals that I've got in the pots with the decorative gravel, because I don't seem to have the same strength in my hands. It's getting too much for me, so they've got to go in to a vessel that's easy for me to pick up. There we are. Now you can still see that one's still got moisture down there, still got water, and there's 3 roots that are taking that moisture up into that plant. And because they're in these open vases now, I can actually, just by looking at them, I know when I need to water them. I don't have to worry anymore. I mean, with this one, it's just, after a while, you start to understand the needs of your orchids, and what, if I was to give any advice, and really, you know, who am I to give advice, because I started off as a novice like everybody else, but all I would say to you, and it's a lesson that we all have to learn, is that you need to learn your environment. I can't tell you how many orchids I've lost. I could cry at every one that I've lost, and the only reason I've lost them is because I didn't understand their needs, and it's taken me 3.5 years, and I'm still learning, and the ones that I've got now, hopefully, this is why I won't get any more at the moment, because I want to know that I can grow these, and I've understood everyone and their needs. So it's just really a natter this morning. I don't want everybody to follow what everybody else does. The YouTube is marvellous. We can all go on and we can all look at what everybody else does. But I live in England. I do not live in Florida. I do not live in California. I do not live in Canada, New Zealand, Australia. There's Africa. There's India. There's Sweden. There's Europe. We all live in different areas. So we have to know, and these orchids will adapt, but slowly, to your environment. So don't just follow the trends because you think that it works for one person, but that one person may not be in the same environment as you. So it's just a very quick talk this morning, because we have a lot of experienced growers, and we also have a lot of novices, and of course people go on YouTube and instinctively they think, well, I must do that, I must follow that. Try and be patient, just take a step back in your enthusiasm and see whether or not, just try it with one. I tried it with that one and it worked for me. You pick one that you can afford to lose just in case it doesn't work. So from me to you, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye now.